Hey guys, Max here with another Ashlands video. Iron Gate just released another patch update on the public test branch, and in this video, instead of me just reading the patch notes, we are going to kind of showcase some of the changes. Not all of them though. There's some minor furniture things that have been updated and things like that. We're not going to go into that too much, but more of the meat and potatoes of the changes, right? And kind of see what's changed and what's a little better, things like that. And then we'll kind of have a short follow up at the end. If you're interested in this type of content, make sure you subscribe down below. Hope you enjoy. So let's start off with the Jakar Ship. Iron Gate decided to lower the total weight for a ceramic plate from 4 down to 2. And then they also changed the requirement of the Jakar Ship from 60 fine wood down to 50. So those two things combined should make it a little easier to carry around the supplies if you're trying to bring them across country to another shoreline kind of thing, and just makes it easier to carry it so you can make another ship somewhere else. They also mentioned that they updated the color and texture of the flametal beam and pillars. Here's what they look like here. They appear to be a little brighter, so just in case you're interested in those. They also updated the Ashen Cape to have frost resist on it, as well as the Feather Cape, which is a really nice change. This is going to help when you're going back into the mountains in the later part of the game and you don't have to switch back to another cloak kind of thing. So really glad that they did this. The new Flametal Mace had a nice change. Before, when you upgraded it, it would add more piercing damage, which was kind of weird, but they fixed that and now it just adds more blunt damage. So very cool there. Keep in mind that the mace and the two-handed axes now require 16 stamina on hit instead of 14. So a little bit of a nerf there. Maybe it was just better tuning, but just keep that in mind when you're planning out your weapon choice. The pecan pie, which is the best new health food that comes with this patch, had an increase of stamina from 24 to 35, which is a really nice change. Very excited about that. The new spellcaster weapon, the Dunder, had a change, or a fix rather, kind of like the mace. Whenever you upgraded it, it was giving piercing damage, but now it gives lightning damage instead. So really nice quality of life fix there. The Staff of the Wild got a nice upgrade. This is rank 2 of the staff with level 70 elemental magic, and it now roots, or has a chance to root the target, kind of like the primal weapons with the bow and the sword. And it's now hitting for about 150 to 175 as opposed to the 80 to 120 damage I think we did on the previous patch notes test. And you can kind of see there, it just recently rooted it. So really nice quality of life upgrade on this. Keep an eye out on this staff if you are into elemental magic. So the troll staff got an upgrade. Now when this summon troll fights monsters, when it smashes down with its fist or its claws, it will hit several monsters just like that instead of a singular one. This was a really big problem when you would summon troll into a large pack of monsters. He would kind of sit there and just kind of smash one monster at a time. And if there was 6 or 7 guys around him, he would just get overwhelmed and just die really quickly. So this should help him out a little bit with a little more cleave action in his attacks. For those of you that tuned into the stream a couple weeks ago where we tested 35 different things, you may remember that the ash vines would not grow on the Groston walls here and the Dark Divider walls. Now they do. That's been fixed, so they should grow on any wall that you plant them near. Next, let's talk about the armor changes. So the caster armor got a little bit of love. It went from 25% Eater regen on the helm to 30, and then a 5% increase as well on the chest piece. It went from 45 to 50, as well as the trousers, 45 to 50%. So overall, if you wear the full set, another 15% regeneration rate for your Eater there. And then the Ask set finally got its set bonus added. It's really cool too. So 10% run stamina usage reduction, 10% jump stamina reduction, 20% attack stamina usage reduction, and then 10% increased pierce damage. So this may be a little more tailored towards bow, crossbow, and the spear users. There's no new daggers in Ashlands, so unless you're kind of using some old daggers, this won't have too much use for that specific role, I guess. But it's nice to finally see the set bonus on this one. Next up, let's head to Ashlands to check out the changes out there. First of all, the mysterious locations. They mentioned that when you find the little markers to locate one, it will move on to the next marker that you haven't found, right? So it won't double up and say like, oh, you've already found this marker, but by the way, here it is again. Evidently, it's supposed to be fixed to where it will just keep finding the next marker that you haven't found. That way you're not running all over the place hoping to find a cave that's close to the one that's missing. So that's a good change there. They also fixed the Scug drop rate on the little Cog Wheels that they drop. Now they always drop one and some bone fragments. I already killed 3 just to make sure that it was 100% 100% chance to drop, and it appears to be so. So when you're looking for these charred cog wheels for your catapults, now you can kill the little bone ballistas on the fortresses to make sure you get one. The next change is that you can now ride an Askven through the lava, which is really nice. You won't take any more damage while riding one of these things. So this is going to be another great option to travel throughout Ashlands without having to worry about the giant lava pools that block your path. Next, we're going to talk about the beach damage, and more specifically, the water that's on that beach, the Red Ocean. Iron Gate put in the patch notes that the damage is less severe on the Ashland beach, and that wasn't really clear for me, so I decided to test it. So it appears to be around the knee-thigh level of the water when your character is kind of standing idle. It's a little different because the wave kind of goes up and down with the tide. But around this area, it's about 2 wood panels out, maybe 3, but about 2. Where it's kind of safe, right? And I put that in quotations because it's not 100% safe here because there's still a timer for the damage. If you remember in the video where I tested the damage and how fast it would come when you were swimming in the ocean, it used to be 5 seconds while you're swimming, 10 seconds before you start to cook if you had the Flametal gear. Now, for both, it appears to be 28, 27 seconds before your character starts to cook. On the beach around this area, it's about 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So it's very generous. You can kind of go in and out of the water if your boat's there and it kind of floats out a little bit. You don't have to worry about getting cooked while you swim to the ladder if you get stuck. But just keep that in mind that this is about the distance you can be before it starts to hurt pretty bad. Iron Gate also updated the monsters in Ashlands. More specifically, they said that they made some tweaking to the spawn rates and things like that. I know they did mention that these trees were making damage, kind of like you banging on an anvil or something like that at your base, and the monsters hear you and show up. I know they fixed that, but they said that they also kind of fixed the beach landing. And from what I see on the Discord, the Valheim Discord, people say it's a little better. This is going to be something that I have to test. If you're interested in me streaming like a beach landing, like a fresh beach landing, put in the comment section down below and maybe I'll do that. But they also mentioned that these Dwergar, the monsters don't spawn near them. Now, this is a server that I've already had, so maybe they're just here already, but they said that their bases don't have monsters spawn near them, so that is very good because every time I would sit in one of their bases, they would just get overwhelmed constantly, and then they would kind of run out into this ocean right here and burn up if they were chasing a monster. I'm hoping that they continue to work on the dwarves and prevent them from dying, like when they chase monsters like across lava and things like that, make them a little smarter, maybe make some tanks or casters, things like that. But those are the monster changes that they said that they made tweaks on. And the last thing we're going to talk about is the Flametal pillars. They said they made several changes to these. They used to be pretty slippery and things like that when you try to climb on them, and then they said that they also fixed the timer of the sinkings. However, when I kind of walk around these things, if you see my character now, he kind of looks like he's falling or flying. It's still kind of slippery on these things. Not all of them, but sometimes. And sometimes when I kind of jump on these things, I will still slip and fall. It's kind of weird. You can kind of see me like flying right there, and then I stop, and it's just like I can't jump while my character is kind of falling. So it's still, I think it still needs some work. And then secondly, I tested the sinking. Now this is really weird. I tested this on about 6 or 7 pillars. If you hit and break some of the rocks and then you kind of start to hear that the thing's about to sink and then you log out, it will stop the sinking. And in some cases, it will just prevent the tower from sinking ever again. I've had it where I've knocked out 1 or 2 and then you hear the noise and I log out and I log back in, and then I just mine the entire tower and it doesn't sink at all. And then I'll do it on another one and then it'll start to sink after I break up 2 or 3 or 4, and then I log out and then it'll do the same thing. If it is already sinking and like moving underneath the lava, if you log out, when you log back in, it tends to just be gone completely, right? But if you log out before it starts to sink at that 28-second mark kind of thing, it's still kind of bugged to where it'll just prevent the thing from sinking altogether. I hope Iron Gate still continues to work on this. I really hope that they prevent a player from logging out to stop the sinking. Otherwise, it's kind of pointless. Every person's just going to log out whenever it starts to sink, and you might as well just not have the sinking mechanic in at all, right? So it's really weird. I tried to test it, and maybe I'll test it a little more this weekend, but for now, it still appears to need some work. And that about covers all of the highlights for the most recent patch for Ashlands. If you feel like I deserve it, hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel for more Valheim content, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.